Okay, good morning, everyone.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning, sir. Very good morning.
Hope you all are good.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Morning. Okay, so last class we started with basic networking and security concept. So in continuation with that, we were understanding yesterday about DNS, domain name system or server, right? We understand that it's very difficult, right, to remember the IP addresses. That's the reason we enter the domain name, let's say facebook.com, google.com, right? Once you type the URL in your browser, it does the DNS lookup. That means it sends the DNS query to the DNS server. It's very important of your browser to have the IP address of DNS server as well. So if you have taken the internet connection from ISP, then along with the IP address configuration through DHCP, one DNS IP address also configured to your system. I hope you guys have seen how to configure the static IP address. If you have seen how to configure static IP address, bottom of that configuration, DNS IP address is also there to configure. Either that is also set, can be set to automatic through DHCP or static. That means if you have the DNS server, you can configure manually also, or automatic, it can receive through DHCP server. Yes or no? So by default, your Wi-Fi has been configured the setting as DHCP. Means neither you have to configure the IP address for your system nor the DNS server IP address. As soon as you connect, automatically your system get your system IP address as well as DNS server IP address. Understand? Without DNS server, you will be connected to the internet, but website will not get resolved to its IP address. And if IP address, website domain will not get resolved to the IP address, you will not get routed to particular website. Yes or no? Because final communication happen using IP address only, not with the domain name. Understand? Clear? So yesterday we were talking about that recently, for example, recently you have created a website somewhere deployed in USA. How anybody can access your website using URL domain name simexpert.com? How your ISP DNS server will come to know what is the IP address of DNS IP address of simexpert.com? Get your mind? Because you have set up your website in USA, but accessing the website in India
Internet.
in using
Internet.
Ethernet.
Host address A address.
VPN.
That is the A record, of course.
A record, yes, sir.
But how your DNS is getting the A record? That is the question, right? Because your website is in USA, but you are accessing in India. You are having the DNS server of your ISP. Mute mic. Mute your mic. This person more to me. Your DNS server is your ISP DNS server, right? So let me tell you that how DNS actually works. You know
Netting.
You know what happens whenever. Let me tell you what is the concept of deploying any application, any web application website. First of all, any web application you have to deploy website or any web application. For example, your Facebook is one of the web application. Yes or no? Your Flipkart is one of the web application. SIEM is one of the website, again a web application, right? So any of the web applications you want to make live, you want to make accessible for outside user, what is the prerequisite? What is the setting configuration that you do? Get in mind? First of all, you should have a server. First of all, you have to have a server. Server is same as your laptop desktop only, but has been designed in such a way so that it can run 24/7, means 24/7, 365 means all days. Your desktop laptop does not have capability to run 24/7. It will burn out. It will become hot and it will get burned out. Your servers have the capability to run 24/7, 365 days without turning it off. Having similar resources, but having different capabilities, having higher resources. Understand? Get a mind? Having higher hardware resources. My video is there in the YouTube. What is server and how it is different from laptop and desktop. It's very important to understand for the people who are new in this field. Write down this homework. What is server and how it is different from workstation. A laptop desktop we call as workstation. Normal laptop desktop we call as workstation, right? What is server and how it is different from workstation. These are not interview question. Okay, these is basics that you should know, because once you go into the company, these are the terms that we use. Okay, that server is down. Now you'll be thinking, what is that server? Because people are new, right? Many of the people. So on that video, I explain you what is the use of RAM in system. What exactly you're saying, I need 8 GB RAM, I need 16 GB RAM. But what exactly the role of RAM in your system? What exactly the role of CPU in your system? If CPU is less, what will happen? If memory utilization is high, what will happen? What application uses more memory? What application uses or what task uses more CPU? What is the use of disk? So what are different resources within your system, hardware, software? I have explained you and that video how your workstation is different than server, right? Get my point? So that is the homework. That video is there in the SIEM XPERT channel, not my this specific new channel that I have. I'm sharing the link in SIEM XPERT channel. Okay, I'll be sharing the link also. SIEM XPERT, you know, right? SIEM XPERT channel, SIEM XPERT YouTube channel. Everybody, right?
Yes.
Search in
Yes.
SIEM XPERT. In that channel, the video is there. If you do not find, then I will share the link in the group. So make sure that you go through it. Okay, those are basic, but छोटी-छोटी मोटी बातें हिंदी में means little things but very important. So what do you do? So whenever you deploy any application which need to be done 24/7 all the time, we do not deploy in the laptop desktop is for general use, normal use. Get in mind? To use those applications, we use laptop desktop. But to deploy those applications so that other people can access it, we deploy on the server. Clear this, right? So if you want to deploy any website, first of all, we have to have a server, right? Now, then we understand we have to deploy this website on the server so that people can access it. Now people has to access, then the server should have its address. Now you know that in digital devices, in internet world, what is their address? The address is called as, in internet world, IP address. Yes or no? So now, in order for us to deploy the application and to ensure that application should be accessible to other people in the internet, we should have the address of this server. So we have to configure the IP address. For example, you have configure this particular IP address 197.0.2.100. Understand? Now you have configured based on, see what happens is based on the size of application, what application you are going to deploy, how many users are going to access those applications. Based on that, you have to allocate the hardware like CPU, memory, RAM, hard disk, and all. Get a mind? So based on that, you have already configured it. Now you configure the IP address. That means you have already taken the internet connection and connected to the server and configure the static IP. Of course, you will configure the static IP address because the application that you are going to host here, that should be available all the time for all people should be able to access. It should have the fixed address. Dominoes, you cannot move from here to here. It should have a fixed address. Yes or no? The server should have fixed address. Now, in this server, we are going to deploy application. For example, SIEM XPERT website I am going to host. So SIEM XPERT website, I will go host here. Now, once I install SIEM XPERT website, so SIEM XPERT website, once I host, so IP address of the server will be mapped with the application. Then the application IP address means server IP address. If anybody asks you what is the IP address of SIEM XPERT, that means IP address of the server itself. Understand? Application, we do not define separate IP address. The server IP address on which the application is hosted, deployed, that particular server IP address will be called as IP address of the application. Understand? So application, that website or any application that you deploy, also having couple of parts, such as one application on which you have dashboard, right? And one is backend database. Backend database on which store the tables and user information and everything. Yes or no? We store the tables and other information like your designing and portfolio, images, right? Where the images is stored, all other information is stored on the backend database. So whenever you access any website, request will come to the server and server will route the request to the application, and whatever, for example, you click on the image, my profile, and application will send the request to the database. Database will find where the profile is stored, then it will retrieve from backend database, give it to the application, and then it will give it to the end user. Get it? So every application have the backend database to store all the information. Understand? And every applications are stored on the server to host 24/7, to make it run 24/7. Understand? Clear? So now let's say SIEM XPERT, right? So SIEM XPERT website you hosted here, application running now here in this particular server, right? So now you taken the internal connection from, for example, Telenor, because it is on US, right? Now other user.
Sir.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Now it is okay.
Video was
Okay, sir.
Video stopped?
Some network issue from your end, Sulabh.
Acha.
now it's okay, sir.
Now?
Now it is
Okay, sir.
Is it
Now
still
it's fine.
Now okay.
okay? Let me know if it is problem is there. Then let me
It's okay now.
it's good now, sir.
No, sir.
let me know immediately in case it is again happens. In case I get disconnected, give me a call on my phone. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So a SIEM XPERT website is hosted on this server, right? So now this work is done. I configured server, I deploy a website, right? I connected already online. That means my website is online. Now, can the people access SIEMexpert.com from the internet? What do you think that people other locations, you can see it is connected, right? Can people open the browser and type SIEMexpert.com? Can they access the website?
Yes.
By typing
Yes, sir.
on the browser SIEMexpert.com?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes.
The answer is no.
No, sir.
No, sir.
They
Because
need to register domain.
if you have not given that domain name, or if you have not given any records,
It's a static IP.
the internet, then they cannot.
The domain and the IP should be mapped.
If you have not given access to the public.
If they haven't created an A record, then the computer's not going to know where what the name or the IP address is. So even if you connect
Mhm.
to the internet, no one's gonna really know how to get to it.
They have to Yeah. access through
You
RDP.
need to enable the communication from both sides.
Right. First of all, as you do domain, I already purchased 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺 domain. Already I purchased it. Even I am the owner of 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺 domain, but still I can't access my website 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com by typing on Google 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com. I can access it by typing IP address on the browser. See what happens once we deploy the website, we have to define the port number also. By default, port number is for HTTP 443. I will tell you what is the use of port number. As of now, we have not came on the stage where we have to explain port numbers. So I'm not explaining you the port number as of now. On the further topics, further stages, I will tell you the use of port numbers. Okay. So if I go on the browser, type IP address colon port number 443, I'll be able to access the website. But by typing 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com, I will not be able to access the website. The reason is how your browser will come to know 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com IP address.
We have to publish on DNS.
We know here, right? We know you are the owner of this website. You know that 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺 website is yours and hosted on this server and this IP address. Nobody else knows. Yes or no? Nobody else knows that 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺 website is hosted here and its IP address is this. Internet world knows only IP address. It does not knows the domain name 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com. That means now once we deploy a website, configure the IP address. If we want that our website should be accessible with the domain name 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com, then we have to announce. We have to tell people that our website is 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com and website which is hosted on this particular IP address should be accessible with 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com. Means you should type 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐵.com and all the DNS should route the request to this particular IP address. That means we have to announce. People do not know. Yes or no? All this DNS server do not know that 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐵.com using this particular IP address. Get my point? Because we simply deploy the website. We have not said to anyone that 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐵.com is actually should be routed to this particular website. This is because IP address 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸 has hosted on this particular IP address. Understand? Everybody on the same page? That means we have to announce. Until unless you will not tell people, people will not come to know. So it's the internet world. You can announce now. You cannot take a mic and tell people, okay, I am deploying a website and this is the IP address, this is the domain name. You can't announce in the internet world. Yes or no? So you have to broadcast. You have to update in the digital form. So what happens is, now in this case, you should have a DNS server and you create a DNS record. Get a mind? So that is the reason companies have their own DNS server. They create their own website when they hosted, they create the record, and as well as other companies record also, they get updates. So let me explain you step by step. So for example, 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com have their own DNS record, own DNS server. So they will create a record on their own DNS server. If I have DNS server, I'll create a record. 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.com has been met with 197.0.2.100. I'll create this mapping. You know what happens? There is a universal server, public DNS server, which IP address is 8.8.8.8. This public DNS server, its IP address is 8.8.8. All ISP DNS server, all your company DNS server, all DNS server are synchronized. Who has unmuted? Suraj. All public DNS server, all your internal company DNS server, ISP DNS servers are synchronized with this public DNS server. They give the update to public DNS server and they take the update from the public DNS server. Get in mind? So what happens is, as soon as you created this DNS record to your DNS will give the update to the public DNS server. That, okay, we have a new website and has been mapped with this particular IP address. Update will be sent to the public DNS, and public DNS server will send the update to all the DNS across the world, because all the DNS servers are synchronized with public DNS. And now all the DNS, including your ISP DNS, your internal DNS, company DNS, all the DNS server will have this record. Get my point? That is the reason you hosted the website in the USA, you created the record in your own DNS server in USA, within fraction of minutes, even seconds, you access the website from India by typing SIEMexpert.com and you will be able to access the website. You have taken the interconnection from Airtel. Means your Airtel DNS server will have the record.
I have a query.
Understand? Yes.
Yes, sir. You typed Google DNS IP, and you
It's
are
Google
calling that
DNS.
this is
Public DNS server is the
Yeah,
Google DNS server.
Yeah. Now this is a public, but this is Google DNS. But
Right.
what is called public DNS? It is a proprietary of Google, and they are making it public.
Right.
But in my DNS server, if I don't rely on Google, then what IP address I can set as public?
This
Is there any
8.8.8.8.
This is Google DNS server.
Yes,
Right.
Google DNS server. Yes.
Is there any other public DNS server?
4.4.4.
But that is also Google, right?
This is public.
But
Public
no, my asking is there any public DNS server other than Google?
No, this is public DNS server only. This is the public DNS server.
Okay, sir.
Okay. This is the public DNS. Monopoly is there, but this is the public DNS server.
Hello, sir.
Yes. So let me complete this topic. Then you ask the question. So this is public DNS. You understand, right? As soon as you create the record, all the records will be synchronized with other DNS server, including your ISP DNS server and your company's DNS server. The reason of creating, so this public DNS server is free. In case, for example, in case you want to use this public DNS server, you can configure this DNS also on your system. For example, one day, what happens is, I was at home. I was connected to my home Wi-Fi. What happens is, one day suddenly, I was able to connect my company system to my Wi-Fi and able to access the internet. My mobile, I was able to access my internet. My personal laptop, I was connected, showing as connected, but unable to access the internet. None of the website was working. I said, what happened? It was showing as connected, but none of the website was accessible. When I checked IP config, I was getting the IP address. I said, what happened? But when I did IP config /all, I see that my system is not getting the IP DNS IP address. That is the reason I was connected. But when I was accessing the website, it was not getting resolved, because through DHCP, the configuration of the DNS was getting failed. That's the reason DNS did not configure. That's the reason I was not able to access the website from particular laptop. Then what I did on static setting and just configure DNS as static 8.8.8.8. And immediately I was able to access the internet. So public DNS server 8.8.8 Google DNS server, which is free for everybody. Anybody can use it. But company has their own DNS server. There are two reasons. One reason is to create the records, because big companies will have new applications has to be deployed. They can't rely on third parties. Yes or no? They have to create the records, so that any website they have to make live, they can make it live by creating the record. Sometimes they have to decommission, they can remove the records. Yes or no? Otherwise, for small companies, they have to rely on third party like GoDaddy, Hostinger, some other companies which can create the record for them. For example, SIEMexpert. We don't have DNS server ourselves, so we create it on the Hostinger or GoDaddy. But big companies will have their own DNS server. Second reason is, for example, your company is in Mumbai. For example, your company is in Mumbai. You have 1 lakh employee in Mumbai office or 50,000 employee in Mumbai office. Get in mind? Now, once you Mumbai people access the website, first of all, it has to go to the DNS. For example, Google DNS server is in Bengaluru. So once you access the website, first of all, it will go to DNS to resolve. So now your connection is traveling from Mumbai to Bengaluru to get it resolved. Now resolution will happen. Now it will go to the internet. That means there might be significant delay in accessing the internet. Yes or no? While if you have your own DNS, it may be fast because it is hosted internally to your network only. Yes or no? That is the second reason of having the own DNS server, to make the internet access fast. Clear my point, right? Understand? So that is the use of another why people have their own DNS server. Understand? Otherwise, public DNS server is free for everybody. ISP will have their own DNS server, company will have their own DNS server. Yes, now you can ask.
Yeah,
For
company.
every office internal DNS server, will they have like different public IPs?
Different public, of course, they will configure public IP to their own DNS
Okay.
server. Static
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
In my if I have a DNS server in my organization, from where it will get updated database? From Google.
All DNS server across the world are public.
It means my enterprise DNS server will communicate with public DNS server.
Right. It will point out public. It will give the update to public and take the update from public.
Thank you, sir.
So
Well,
whenever
what you
we
just
take-
said.
whenever we create a record, right? We check, for example, when I used to work in my first company, I have been given some time work to create a record. So the company was based out in the USA. So we had several locations. Mute your mic. Guys, I'll drop you from the meeting. If I see this noise, Suraj, I go to muting meeting. If I see the noise from your end, if you're not keeping back in mute, I'll have to drop you from the meeting, to be honest. So what I'm saying is, the company has the location in USA, in India, in multiple locations. So for example, when they have multiple data center, I will tell you what is data center in the later period. So when any website has to be hosted in USA, so we have to create the record on the USA DNS server. So we had access to the DNS server remotely, their servers also, and DNS also remotely. So what happens is, once we create the record in the USA, then we used to access from India. It is in live in USA. Then after a few seconds, we used to access from India, and we see website is accessible. That means record has been synchronized across the world. Website is live in USA, and now it is accessible in India. And when we used to create a record for Indian website, we used to take the remote access of the USA servers, and from there we used to access the website to cross-check. Website is live in India, created the record in India, whether it is accessible for some other location or not. And you will see within a fraction of a second, it is accessible now in US and other locations as well. Get in mind? So it won't take much time for the DNS to send the DNS records update. Clear? Anybody else? Any confusion? Clear, right? How DNS works?
Sir, I have one question. May I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, as you already said that some companies have their own personal DNS server and some don't have, like as you mentioned, right?
Small companies, some small companies.
Yeah, some small companies. So like it is necessary to have their personal DNS server for the record, because we have the like third parties.
So again,
DNS
necessarily you
also.
have to pay, you have to rely on them, right? That is the reason.
Right.
We frequently create the web application, web servers. They generally will have the DNS server. Otherwise, you have to rely on third-party companies.
And what will be the cost, sir, if companies purchase their own DNS servers?
What is the?
what is the cost and the maintenance of the DNS, like if the company buy their own internal servers?
Cost, I'm not very sure about the cost because I was never involved in the acquisition of, I was a part of administration implementation, but sales team, a licensing team was different for this. So I'm not
Okay,
sure
no.
about the cost. It depends the usage. It depends on the usage.
So how do
I
you
guess, sir,
create
it's
the
depend upon the
DNS
size of the
records?
organization. So
How many records you create?
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you create the DNS records?
This part because this was the beginning time when I used to have it, so I was not involved. But further security tools, I have full idea because after this I was involved in a whole two. But this was the very initial time, so I was the part of operations deployment, but not acquisitions. Okay, so
Sir, apart from this, do we have different types of DNSs?
different
Types
different
of
type of DNS records.
Yes.
I have given the homework. You did not complete. Yesterday was homework for yesterday. What was the homework for yesterday?
What is
DNS is
What is the
types
DNS
of DNS.
record?
So this was the homework, right? This was the
Different
homework
types of DNS.
yesterday. Same was the homework. So you have to be on the same page. You have to complete the homework on time. So now my question was initially you have to access the facebook.com, right? So now let's come back. So first of all, you have to take the internet connection. Now you took the internet connection, your system got the IP address, you understand what is the type of IP address. Then you open the browser, then you type facebook.com, yes or no? Then you type the facebook.com, then you understand the request will go to the DNS server. You understand what is DNS, why it will go to the DNS server, right? The DNS records that you have gone through, right? Now, finally, after DNS, the request will go to the facebook.com, right? And now after that, you'll get the Facebook page. Now you get the Facebook page. That means you are connected to the internet and you got the Facebook page successfully. Get it? So the little scenario that we have taken, how to access the Facebook initially, just little one. And we understand the backend concept, what all things happen, IP address, DNS, DHCP, type of IP address, like static IP address, dynamic IP address, IPv4, IPv6 and all, the concept we understand, ISP, internet, isn't it? So now let's talk about further. SIEM XPERT has been grown up now. We have around 5 lakhs of employees. We have to set up a new company now, new infrastructure, new facility, means new physical office for 5 lakhs of employees. With 5 lakhs of employees, I have two objectives. You understand? I have to set up physical infrastructure as well as digital infrastructure, means I should have a network where people can sit, 5 lakhs people can sit and should have computers connected with each other with two objectives. Means all internal computers, means internal people can communicate with each other. Means all the computers should be able to connect with each other. Of course, computers are going to be accessed by users only. Means all the users should be able to communicate with each other. Yes or no? Second thing, all the users should be able to access the internet. Get it, mind? I have two objectives now. One is all the users should be able to communicate with each other internally within the network, and all the users should be able to access the internet. Nowadays, you understand, without internet, no business. Yes or no? Even you have IT company or financial, not only these two, but construction, hospitality, or you have pharmaceutical. All the companies now are using business application as a digital applications. Yes or no? Required internet. SIEM XPERT is also IT company. So we need to have all users should be able to talk to each other, communicate with each other internally, as well as should be able to access the internet. So I have to design a network now. I have to design a network by keeping in mind these two objectives. Understand? So let us start. So as you understand initially that in order to connect with each other, when two or more system wants to communicate with each other, they need a unique address, unique identifier. What is that? IP address.
IP.
And you know, in internet world, IP addresses are not free. Yes or no? If I have 5 lakhs of user, you understand, okay, IP address is not free, but you take the DHCP connection internet broadband on which IP address free, but I can't take 5 lakhs connection, internet connection. Yes or no? Home user, one user can take the internet connection, but I can't take 5 lakhs of internet connection. Okay, one IP DHCP is free, isn't it? So I can take one connection, for example, but of 2 connection, 5 connection, 100 connection, but I can't take 5 lakhs connections. Then how can I take it ahead? I have 5 lakhs of user, and these two was the objective. If 5 lakhs computer wants to communicate with each other and wants to go to the internet, definitely they require a unique address. That means IP address, and you understand IP addresses are not free. But for communication, each and every system required the IP address. It's a big challenge. Airtel had the same situation in the last concept, 5 lakhs of users, and they have done some trend analysis and came to know not all users are connecting to the internet at the same time. Similar trend analysis we also did, and we came to know not all 5 lakhs, around 2 lakhs of users are connecting. But Airtel had that business of ISP, they are earning money from them, but we are not earning money. That's we had a different business, right? The broadband is or not our business. So Airtel is permanent business is to give the internet connection. They are earning from money from by giving internet connection. But buying 2 lakhs of IP is a huge cost. I want to set up my company, and IP address itself costs crores of rupees, Indian rupees, crores of rupees. Yes or no? Huge cost. So I can't go ahead with that kind of situation. Crores of rupees just to. Now onwards, if anybody forget to mute the mic, I'll drop them. Vaishnavi, I'm dropping you. Vaishnavi and Manoj, I'm dropping you for the meeting. So what I was telling you? I cannot go ahead and buy and give crores of rupees to buy 2 lakhs of IP address. Then Aina came back to me, said that Sulabh, you don't have to worry about that. I said, why? Aina said that you don't have to worry because there are some free IP available that you can use it. Why can't you use that free IP address? I said, what are those free IP addresses? Aina said that, okay, you don't know. These are the free IP address that I have reserved.
Private IP address.
One
0.0.0/16.12.
16.12.
192 dot
168.
168
0.
0.0/16. Aina said that you can see it here. Normally, when I'm writing IP address here, 4 after 1, 2, 3, 4, there is no slash, right? That means it's a single IP address. I'm not going very deep in IP addressing class A, class B, class C, and all. Right? If you want to go with, you can go in deep learning, but that's fine. That's not necessary. But if you have time, you want to go it's good. So just how much I'm saying, that's enough. But if you want to go you can go with that. So you can see when you see 107.2.0.2.100, you do not see any word slash, right? Or if you see the hyphen 255.255.0 something like that, if you do not see it here, if you see single like this, that means it's a single IP address. That means it's a single IP address. But whenever you see like this, it's not a single IP address. Understand what I'm saying? It's not a single. We read like subnet. Subnet is nothing but the group network of IP address, series of IP address. It's a subnet or network that we call as subnet. There's a resolution, there's a formula how to calculate it. Multiple IP, huge number of calculations, huge number of IP address. If I resolve it, 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2, it will end up till 250, from 0 to 255, 255, 255. From 0 to till 255, 0 to 255, these many calculations will be created. So IP address will become 10.0.0.0.1, 0.0.0.2, 0.0.0.3, unique IP address, 0.4, 0.5, 0. Till 255. Then 10.0.0.1 to 0, 10.0.0.2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, means multiple permutation and combination can be created. Means it's a full range of IP, not a single IP address. Similarly, here 2 digits are fixed and these 2 digits are variable till 255 to 55. Similarly, here 2 digits are fixed and these 2 digits till 255 to 55. Get it? So whenever you see, means it's not a single IP address, it's a range of IP address. Understand? We read it as subnet or network. There's a formula how you can calculate it, how many IP has been created. If you see how much, what is this one and how much is the return, there's a formula how to calculate it and how many IP address can be created. Get it? So there's a topic called as IP addressing, right? If you want to go through, if you have time, then you can go through IP addressing. There's a topic called as IP addressing. What is the topic?
Sir, what is the meaning of 8, 12, and 16? What is it's a denotes? It's the
subnet mask. This is called as
number
subnet
of
mask.
IPs or
This is called as subnet mask. This is called as subnet mask. Here, subnet mask is 8.
what is the meaning of 8 means? Subnet mask 8 means?
8 means the division. Till how much we can. So that is what I'm telling you. Once you read this topic, you will come to know how much resolution means. Lower the number, higher the combination. You can see it is 16, right? Less number of permutation combination will be created. Less number of IPs. You can see lower number, high number of IPs can be created. Get it? Till 24. Till 24 it is maximum. This can be 24. Slash maximum is 24. Okay, so lower the number, higher the combination can be created. Higher the IP address can be created. Higher the number, lower the IP address can be created. Right. So whole topic, if you want to go through, you can read the topic IP addressing. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, as per like I know that in the this last IP, that 192, that is a class C, right? So I think it is 3 network, right? Over there, 3 network and 1 host.
So
that's what I'm asking. So 16 is the bit rate, right? That 16 we can only configure that 254 hosts at a time on the class C net.
So what do you want to ask?
So that's what I'm asking, sir. How it is 16? So actually, I known that, but I forgot.
You go through in Google. It is 16 only. I don't want to go through much detail on this. 101%. It is same only. Okay. Some people always say that because in 2-3 places in Google it is written differently, but this is 101% correct. It is 8, 12, and 16. Okay.
Yes,
Some
sir,
people always have some confusion, but it is correct only.
Okay. Hope you don't mind, sir.
No problem. No problem. I never mind. No problem. It has some confusion some people have, but it is 101% correct only. Okay. But 1-2 people have, because some places in internet it is written like 12, 16, and 24. Something like this somewhere it is written. But it is 8, 12, and 16 only. So Aina said that this range of IP is free. When we see that we have to buy these many IP addresses, Aina came back to me, said that this range of IP is completely free. Why don't you use this range of IP to your computers for free of cost? But there is a star. Star means when Aina said this range of IP is completely free, means huge number of IP address can be created, combination can be created using 3 range of IP address. You can use it, but along with what Aina said, there is a star, means
Not secure.
Outside.
terms and conditions. Star, whenever you see, right, a star means terms and condition. So free, but terms and condition. 50% off, then terms and condition. Maximum 150 rupees. 50% off means maximum 150 rupees. Then you come to know after reading this star and terms and condition, maximum 150 rupees, right? Terms and condition for this is, this IP address can be used internally to your company. Means this IP at range of IP at like 10.0.01.0.0.2.3 or 192.16.0.0.123 like that. This IP address you can use for free, but within your organization, within your network, within your local network, 2 or more computer can communicate with each other using those IP address. But within your local network, within your company network, any computer having this IP configured cannot go to the internet, means cannot access the internet. The reason why? Because Aina is not only my friend. Aina is a friend of everybody. Yes or no? Aina said that you are not the only my friend. Everybody is my friend. So if I am giving this range of IP to you, I am giving it to everybody. So when you know that IP address has unique address, if you configure this IP address to your system and go to the internet, and other people also use the same IP address and go to the internet, there will be conflict, right? There will be conflict, right? If everybody start using this range of IP address, conflict over the internet. Understand what I'm saying? He also configured 10.0.0.1 in his company, and other person also configured 10.0.0.1 in his company. And when go to the internet, conflict. Understand my point? Clear? Aina said that that's the reason these IP addresses are called as internal IP address or private IP address. These range of IP address we call as internal range of IP address, internal IP address or private IP address can be used within your local network, within your company network, within your private network to communicate your computer, your network, your 2 or more computer with each other within your company network, within your local network, right? Understand? 2 or more computer can communicate with each other, but they cannot go to the internet. Let me draw the small architecture to explain this concept, how I will design my company network based on my requirement.
Sir, IP range was not clear.
IP range was not
clear, sir.
Means written was not clear, or you did not understand?
Yeah, I did not understand, sir.
IP range was 10.0.0.0/8 172.16.0.0/12 192.168.0.0/16. Okay, you understand like this. This range means you keep this constant. This is not a single IP address, it's a series of IP address. How many IP address can we get? 10.0.0.1 is say one IP address. 10.0.0.1 2, second IP address 10.0.0.3, third 10.0.0.4 till 255. Okay, then 10.0.1.0, 1.1, 1.2 means so many IP addresses can be created. Understand? Similarly, 172.16.0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. So these are fixed. These numbers are fixed. These are variables. You understand? Here 3 digits are variable. Here 2 digits are variable. Here 2 digits are variables. Understand? Clear? So there is a formula how to create this range of IP address. There is a formula we call as subnetting, right? And this is called as subnet mask. Lower the subnet mask, higher the number of IP address. Higher the subnet mask, lower the number of IP addresses. Understand? Clear? Clear? Understand now? Somebody said? Did not understand?
Yeah,
Understand, right?
not very much clear, sir, but a little bit.
क्या clear नहीं फिर बताओ फिर? What is not clear? You ask the question. What is not clear? It's simple. It's the range of IP address. It's not a single IP address, but range of IP address.
But sir, when 10.0.0.0 till 255, how can we identify that we have to go to till 55?
There's a calculation. See, it's a range of IP address. It's a range of IP. If we decode this, right? There's a formula. If we decode this, means I know this is one, so I can use any number. 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2 means all our IP address available in this range. There is a formula to decode this, right? So I have given this topic, right? IP addressing. If you go through that topic, IP addressing, there's a formula how to decode this. How many IP address can be created, right? I'm just giving an example: 10.0.1 IP, 2 IP address, 10.0.0.3, 3 IP address, 10.0.0.4, 10.0.0.4, 4 IP address. Means so many IP address like this can be created. I can use this IP address also, this IP address, this IP address, multiple IP address we can use. Understand? That's enough. However, if you go through the IP address, you will come to know how many combination can be created. Clear?
Okay, sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.
I will
That's
go through
enough.
the video.
That's enough. Otherwise, you go through IP address that you will understand. Just you keep in mind that when slash is written, that means it's not a single IP address. It's a range of IP address. Get in mind? And this kind of range means variable. We can create number of IP. And whenever you see particular system will have single IP address only. Okay. One single IP address. Particular system IP address will be one IP address, not a range of IP address. Understand? Clear? When we buy IP address, for example, when I am buying IP address from ISP, I'll buy single IP address. But when a company buy IP address from the ISP, the company require, for example, multiple IP address, so they may buy a little range, small range. Maybe it have 50 IP address, 100 IP address. So they may have a subnet mask also. Get in mind? But these 3 range of IP address are free for internal usage, which anybody can use it. Understand? If you decode it, you will see thousands of IP addresses. Even more can be created once you decode this. Okay? Clear?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So now let me draw a small architecture here. Now, I will tell you what is this. Okay. This networking device I'll be telling you. You can see this architecture. This is the ISP. You have taken the interconnection, right? This is a networking device you call a router, and this is called a switch. I will tell you what is router, what is switch. These are number of devices that we have in the company. 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs user we have, right? So these are some of the devices out of 5 lakhs, right? So now I have to define IP address, right? So Aina said that these three range of IP addresses are free. We can use internally for internal communication, right? So let me assign some IP address. So 110.0.0.2, 10.0.0.3, 10.0.0.4, and 10.0.0.5. For example, I have assigned these IP addresses. Yes or no? Aina said these are free. Understand? Once Aina said this, these IP addresses are free. I have assigned this IP address. Now, by assigning this IP address, my first objective got fulfilled. Now, this system got an IP addresses, and now this system can communicate with the system. This system can communicate with the system. That means all the systems can communicate with each other. They're connected. Of course, they are connected and they can communicate. See, connected does not mean that they can communicate. Physical connectivity does not mean that they can communicate, right? For communication, they should have a unique address, means IP address, then only the communication is possible. Understand? Now we have assigned the unique IP addresses because those IP addresses were free. Now we assign. Now within this is our company network, right? Now they can communicate with each other. And in each other means, for example, the system has to send some file to the system. We have some chat application installed, Skype, internal Teams installed. They can have a video call, they can have a chat internally. Understand? So by having this range of IP address for free, our first motive got fulfilled, that our internal computer can communicate with each other. Understand? But Aina said already that having this IP address, you can't connect to the internet, because these range of IP is called as private IP address or internal IP addresses. Yes or no? Private IP address or internal IP addresses. Using this range of IP address, you cannot go to the internet. These IP address you can use in internal network or private network or local network. Yes or no? The network within your lab, within your company, that network is a local area network, LAN. You know, right? LAN port. Yes or no? That is called as LAN. You heard this word LAN, WAN, MAN? Book is knowledge. Book data communication. अगर किसी ने पढ़ा होगा starting में college time में LAN, WAN, MAN.
LAN, WAN, MAN.
Yes, sir. We know.
Wide area network, campus network.
WAN and
MAN.
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 LAN means
Metropol.
LAN means
Local area network.
local area
Local
network
area.
with ये important है. Within your company, within your lab, within your organization, the network
Within
is
an
called as
organization.
local
LAN.
area network. So this network is right now is a local area
Local
LAN
area
network within
network.
your company, right? MAN means
Metropolitan area network.
that means
Metropolitan network.
that means
we can connect one city, one state, one country.
right. And WAN means
Wide area network.
That
Whole
means-
world. Wide area network. All.
Small
Right.
area, like one.
Can connect worldwide
WAN means
worldwide network.
worldwide network, right? The whole world. That is the reason MAN is
Whole world.
actually gone from the real-time world. Only book you see the MAN world, right? The important now is LAN and WAN. Within your company, within network, we call as LAN. Outside your network, internet, we call as WAN. All the devices, you will see WAN or LAN. Get it mind? LAN means your internal device will be connected, and WAN means internet will be connected. You will have a router, internal home router. You will have multiple port to connect your internal network, your home devices. LAN port. One port will be there on which internet will be connected. That port will call as, which port will call as on which internet will be connected?
WAN
port. Right? When I'm talking about internet means I'm talking about WAN. When talking about our internal network means LAN. Or LAN port down. LAN port is not working. LAN port is down. Means your internal network is down. Internal port is down. The problem on the WAN port means internet connectivity problem. When I'm talking about WAN, means I'm talking about internet. When I'm talking about LAN, I'm talking about internal network. Understand? There is no word now MAN. Only LAN and WAN. Understand? All the devices you will see LAN and WAN ports. Clear? So these now again, there are two types of IP address. Initially, you understand there are two types of address, static and dynamic. Then again, there are two types of IP addresses: private IP address or internal, and
Internal.
public IP addresses. Right?
For internet.
Understand? Private and public. Private IP address is the range of IP address that we can use internal to our network, internal to our company or local area network, that we call as private IP address. Any system having private IP address only, we cannot using internet. We cannot access internet with private IP address. Understand? So,
Yes,
public IP address is the IP address that will be identified over the internet. Yes or no? Any system has the public IP address configured can access the internet. With private IP address, we can't access the internet. Clear this point? Let's write. There are two types of IP address: private IP address and public IP address.
Can we use same private IP address on a different network?
Of course, because there is no conflict, right? All the local area network are different.
What is the definition of LAN?
Local area network within the company, within the network.
Thank you.
So private is this range of IP address everybody is using. Every single companies are using these three range of IP address, or any of these three range of IP address. Every single companies are using. Everybody is using those range of IP address. So there are three range of IP address. There are two types of IP address: private IP address and public. So write something on the private. Private IP addresses are the range of IP addresses.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Sir, if LAN network they are not using the internet, what is the purpose of they are using, sir?
In
LAN network they are using only internal only, no, sir.
right.
But they are not connecting to the internet.
They will be connecting. I will tell you. It is
Okay.
required to be connected to the internet also.
So by netting only, right?
I will tell you. Next step.
Okay.
So private IP is the range of IP addresses which can be used to the internally which can be used in the internal network of the company, which can be used in the internal network of the company, which can be used in the internal network of the company. That means within the local area network. That means within the local area network.
Sir, I have one question. Sir, as you said that INA provides us these private network and we can use it internally, right?
INA provide means INA has reserved this IP address for private use. Anybody can use it.
Yeah, definitely.
These are reserved IP address for private use only. Anybody can use it. No need to ask.
And just a few minutes ago, you have mentioned that everybody is using. So my question is, isn't there the clash happen like everybody is using the same IP address internally in their organization?
Right. So clash will not happen because they will not be private IP will not be identified over the internet. You can't go to the internet Any system has the private IP only configured, they cannot go to the internet. So clash will not happen.
It's not publicly exposed.
They cannot even connect to the internet using private IP address. Private IP will not be able to identify, it is not identifiable over the internet. There is no conflict.
Okay, got it, sir.
What बोल रहे?
Sir, I need provide lane and wide when.
क्या है ये?
Sir, आईना provide करता है.
आईना लैन प्रोवाइड करे, तुम्हारा लैन तो आईना प्रोवाइड करेगा क्या? लोकल एरिया नेटवर्क तुम डिजाइन करो, उसको लैन बोलते हैं. While network you design, that we call a LAN. INA is not going to provide. I never mentioned that. WAN कैसे करेगा? WAN तो internet है. WAN means internet. So INA network, internet means public network. You design internet, right? You connect to the internet. You design internet. That's why internet is yours, isn't it? Internet is your property. तो ये आपका है internet. LAN also you design. You have your company, you design the network. LAN is yours. मैं पूछ लिया अगर कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, ठीक है? हाँ.
सर आईना नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है?
हाँ?
आईना नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है क्या? या उससे कुछ प्रॉफिट होता है?
I'm not very sure about it. It's non-profit. I don't think so, because it's a organization, international organization, which manage all those. Profit or non-profit, I'm not very sure about it. Okay, so हाँ.
आईपी असाइन कर रहा है तो उसको उससे मतलब कुछ बेनिफिट होता होगा, मतलब
वैसे
income
हमारा प्रॉफिट क्या है उसमें? Either it is non-profit or profit. There is no our profit.
Definitely, sir.
They are providing rules.
Anyways,
Obviously, sir, it will make profit.
okay, so good. I was just kidding. Anyways, I'm not very sure. That's the reason I could not answer your question.
And sir, what about the MAC address, sir?
MAC address does not comes in the part here. MAC address is the physical address of any machine. Like your IMEI number, right? Of your mobile. It's physical. When you're a mobile manufacturer company, manufacture the mobile, they give a physical number, like chassis number of your car, right? Similarly, MAC address is the chassis number, physical address. Virtual address in the internet is called as IP address. But MAC address also, MAC address, I will tell you MAC address, what device use the MAC address to do the final communication. There's a device called a switch. I will tell you. Yes. Got it? Clear, right?
Hello.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, as you have told,
Go ahead.
sir, as you have told that there will be no conflict between the IP, then how they will get the internet internally?
I will tell you. In next step, I'm going to tell you. That's the question. That's the question now. I'm going to come now. Okay, Aina said that, okay, you can use internally IP, this one free. But I'm on the same stage now. My system can communicate with each other, but they still can't use access internet. Yes or no? So first, write the definition first. You started asking question and definition could not be completed. You were writing that private IP address as the range of IP addresses which anybody can use internal to their network. That means within the local area network. Yes or no? Any system configured with only private IP address cannot access the internet directly. Any system configured with private IP address cannot access the internet directly. लिखो. Any system configured, भैया पहले रखो. First write, then ask. First write two definition, then ask. Any system configured with private IP address cannot access the internet directly. Cannot access the internet directly. Okay. Then next is public IP address. Public IP addresses are the range of IP addresses. Public IP addresses are the range of IP addresses using which we can access the internet. Using which we can access the internet. Yes, now you can go ahead. You had some question?
Sir, private IP addresses are free, right?
Three range. These three range of IP address. You must remember this.
So why are we doing, sir, subnetting?
This is not three IP address. Subnetting means it's a full range of IP address, right? It's a full range. Okay. Subnetting means it's a full range. And once you divide, then you'll come to know how many, so many IP addresses. Okay. Clear? Apart from these three range, so these three range of IP addresses are reserved for private use. Apart from that, there are so many other ranges of IP address which are public range of IP address, public IP addresses. So now you tell me any system which has this IP address, any system you see, and once you type ipconfig, you see this IP address, it's written IP 192.168.0.5. Once you log in the system and run the command ipconfig, you see the IP address 192.168.0.5. So this system, so this IP address is private IP address, public IP address?
Private IP address, sir. Private IP address.
Why it is private?
192.168.
It is reserved for private IP.
Because this IP address is a part of this range. 192.0.0 means up to 5 means coming on this range, and this range is part of private IP address. Yes or no? If
Yes,
you
sir.
see any system, you run the command and IP address is 169.0.2.20. Is this private or public?
Public IP address.
Public, sir.
It's public IP.
Why it is public?
It can.
It is not
It's not part of the private.
It is because it is
The range of private address.
It can be accessed from anyone in the over the internet, and it is given by the INA.
That means any IP address which does not falls under the range of these IP address will be called as public IP address. Public IP address range is very big, right? So we can see any IP address which is not a part of this range, which is not starting either from 10 or 172.116 or 192.168, but is not starting of 3 range. That means that IP address is public IP address. Understand? Yes or no? If it is starting from these 2, 3, means it's a private IP address. Understand? You'll be able to identify private and public. Give me one moment. Okay, so you understand, right? You can identify easily, right? Private and public. Now you understand. Mute your mic. Mute your mic. Ihi, your mic is not on mute. So you understand, using private IP internally, people connect with each other. This computer can connect with each other using within the local area network within a company. But Aina said that okay, you can use the reserved IP address. We have used one. First objective got fulfilled, but second objective to connect to the internet, still we are in the same place, because we need our user to connect to the internet also. But using private IP address, term and condition is computers cannot connect to the internet, because these IP address cannot be identified over the internet. Yes or no? Again, to access the internet, we need public IP only. Yes or no? Isn't it? We need public IP only to connect to the internet. So again, 5 lakhs of users, at least 2 lakhs of IP you need to configure public IP address. Then thanks to the concept of netting, there's a concept called as netting. NAT. What? Called as NAT. NAT means
Network address translation.
what do you mean by NAT? NAT means network address translation. Process of NAT is called netting, right? Ball. Process of ball is called a balling. Process of NAT is called as netting, network address translation. Network address means network address. Network means internet, network, either internet or network. Yes or no? And what is the address of network? Network address means
IP address.
IP address.
IP address.
In the internet world or network world, address is IP address. So network address translation means IP address translation. Yes or no? IP address translation. Language translation means one language to another language. Yes or no? You see Rahul Gandhi translation. Rahul Gandhi, when he goes to South, right? He will have one translator. He will translate to the local language, right? And we'll have some, somewhere we go and we'll have some translator, right? Who will translate from one language to another, right? That we call as translator. So here, network address translation, that means IP address translation, that means one IP address to
private to public.
Another
Public to private.
See, many people have this kind of, wrong information that network address translation is private to public. Where it is written private to public. Network address translation is just
Internal
IP address
host to-
translation. IP address translation. It can be anything. One IP address, a translation of one IP address to another IP address. See, language translation can be Hindi to English and English to English, Hindi to English also, and English to English also. Sometimes if you have some local English slang language, yes or no? So similarly, netting can be private to public. Means netting is nothing but the mapping of one IP address with another IP address. Resolution of one IP address with other IP. Private IP address can resolve to public, can showcase it's a public IP address. Get it? Understand? So mapping of one IP address with other IP address is called as actually netting. So private IP address will showcase as public. So private can be netted as public. Public can be netted as private. One private IP can also be netted as another private IP address. And one public IP can also be netted as another public IP address. All can be done. All combination can be done. But maybe requirement may not be there always for public to public or private to private, but that is achievable, that I wanted to say. Maximum time, the netting is private to public actually. That's the reason people say netting means private to public. but that is not the actual meaning. Understand? Netting can be applied by anything, any combination, but maximum time we see in the netting, maximum time private to public to go to the internet, right? So here also it will be private to public. Netting is nothing but the mapping of one IP address, translating one IP address to another IP address. That is called a network address translation. Network means IP address translation, one IP address to another IP address. So in this case, a gateway router. This is a router. I will tell you what is router. In this router, we can enable the feature of netting. NAT, N-A-T. Router will have the NAT feature. Now, instead of buying 2 lakhs of IP address, we can even buy a single IP address. Single IP address and configure one public IP. For example, configure one IP address. One IP address configure 199.0.2.20. Configure this IP address, public IP address, and now define the netting here. You define the netting here. In netting, you can define one IP address or range of IP address. You can define your option input one IP address or range of IP address. If you have 10 dot range, because you have 2-3 lakhs computer, maybe have some computer have 10 dot range IP, 172 also, 192 also. You have input, you can define all 3 range. Single IP also can be mapped, range of IP address or multiple range of IP address. So I have defined all 3 range of IP address. Whenever any connection comes from all 3 range of IP address, then map all IP address with this IP addresses. Anybody access the internet will go to router. This router device will apply the netting and your IP address will translate to the public IP address and go to the internet. Get a mind? Now all 5 lakhs of user will be able to access the internet by netting and having this IP address as source IP addresses. On the all public world, they will understand that connection is coming from this IP address. Each and every system will maintain the unique session ID. Means session will not get conflict because all 5 lakhs of users have the same IP address. When the connection will come back, it will get delivered to particular system only because every packet maintain the specific unique session ID. Based on that, thus they will receive the packet back to the particular system. Okay, that is how netting works. Understand? Clear? So that is how clear. Yes.
Sir,
Sir,
router
once
is
please explain
connected to the internal network and outside network. Can router have both private IP address and public IP address, or it will only have one IP address?
No, can have, of course.
Can have 2 IP address, right? Private IP and public.
Multiple IP address. I will explain you what is router. I'll explain you what is router in just few moments later.
Sir.
Yes. Even your even laptop desktop also we can configure multiple IP address. It will have multiple network card. Private IP also we can configure and public also we can configure.
Okay.
Sir, once please explain this NAT scenario again.
Again, what you did not understand, you tell me. The whole concept again explaining.
No, not the whole. As you have just mentioned that in the router we can use NAT features in which we can even if you wanted to given like a single IP address or the range of IP address mapping in the router, right?
Correct.
So I'm confused with that. Like IP, like NAT, what's do? Like I'm not clear with that.
Netting means, see, I have to define input and output. What has to be mapped? So if connection coming from particular IP address, then it has to be mapped with this public IP address, or connection coming from this range of IP address, any of these range of IP address mapped with this public IP address. So we understand we have multiple this system, different IP address. So connection coming from any of this IP address should be mapped with this public IP address. So instead of defining single IP address, you define the range of IP address, subnet. Understand?
That's I'm already clear. Like single or the range of. I mean, like what NATs does, like the IP address, whatever the range is or the single. So like it converts our private IP address into the public, and we can access it the internet. Are you saying that?
Are you saying means what? I don't understand. Private
Sir,
to
I
public,
am
here private to public we are giving. So what has to be mapped, translate, right? So all this private IP address, whenever it comes, it should translate to public. So we have to define what private IP has to be translated. So which all private IP we have. So we can't write the single private IP address. So we can define the series subnet. Okay, these range of these IP address should be translated. This probably we have to define here in the router, right? During the netting. So we can define it here. So when any connection coming from those IP address will result to this IP address. Simple. Clear?
Then
Okay,
sir, we
got
have
it,
to buy
got it,
a
got it,
static
clear.
IP for that.
What?
Then we have to buy a static IP for that.
Of course, this static IP you have to buy. Of course, single IP address, static IP you have to buy. Single. Okay.
Okay.
Single static IP you
Means
have
only
to buy.
one. Means
Single,
only one is static IP will do multiple work.
here, minimum one IP you have to buy. Minimum one IP address. There are some other things in big companies. They may not rely with one internet only. They may have multiple internet, multiple IPs also for load balancing. They have multiple WAN ports here. They may have taken the internet from Tata also, from Ticona also, for example, right? So they may have one IP for this WAN communication, one IP for WAN. So they will have different configuration here, right? So that this connection get down, automatic connection will get switch here. Different configuration it has. So load balancing also can be done. Some internet will go to this communication, so some internet will go. This can also be configured. Load balancing, failover.
Thank you.
What if a single IP is assigned and every private IP are trying to access the network, internet? In that case,
That is same I explained, right? A single public IP address with multiple private IP address can use the same public IP address.
okay.
So unique,
Hello.
every communication that you do, right? Every packet will have the unique session ID address, unique session ID, right? So it will consider differently. So there won't be any mixing on the internet.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, one query.
Sir, router means that we can use only public or private IP address also we can use it.
Where?
Means one router to another router also we can connect.
Here, I will tell you, here we have, I'm explaining you about netting right here, right? So here, I have not talked about internal routers because I am not explaining about the router right now. I will tell you what is router. I'm just talking about the netting concept here.
Means here LAN to the router connecting, no? Router is definitely we need to use in the public only. IP address.
Of course, public address for internet facing, because the router is internet facing router, right? You are in the router. So of course it will have the public IP address, then only it will go to the internet. Okay.
Sir,
Yes. Sir, if something happened bad by .4 ID, then how can we identify then where we can save the record from which desktop has doing this?
Many device will have
malicious IP.
In next few sessions, we are going to talk about many security devices which will be coming in between the communication, right? So many devices are going to record the communication where we can see the logs, what is happening across the whole network. Okay, we'll have the firewall, we'll have the email gateway, proxy. There are many devices where we can see what is happening across the network, from which device, what is receiving, what is forwarding. Every communication can be tracked.
Means router have no capability to record a session.
Router also has. Not only, but not only router, there are some other devices also. Means we don't need to rely only router, because router only record only small information. But we have some other devices which will record more information. But I have not explained you about those devices as of now. In next sessions, we'll be talking about securing the network. So we'll talk about security devices. So how to secure the network for any kind of suspicious activities. Then we'll talk about all those stuffs. Router records, but minimal information, not all useful information, because router has limited capabilities. Okay, clear with the network, with the netting, right? Netting nothing but the mapping of one IP address with another IP address. Here, mapping is private to public, so that it can allow user, this computer having internal IP address, can access the internet by having even a single IP address using the netted technology, netting configuration. Right now, let's talk about how these computers are connected with each other. You can see one device here. What is this device about? So let's talk about in the networking, in the new networking architecture, there are two types of networking devices. One is switch, another is
Router.
router. One is, let me draw it again. There are two types of networking devices in the digital architecture nowadays, networking architecture, which allow two or more devices to connect with each other, to communicate with each other. You can see this these four computers, I'm assigning the IP address 10.0.0.2, 10.0.0.3, 10.0.0.4, 10.0.0.5. If there are two or more computers in the network, within any network, within any local network, if there are two or more computers wants to communicate with each other, if there are two or more computers wants to communicate with each other, if they're part of same network or same subnet, you can see if they're a part of same network or same subnet, you can see this is a part of 10 network, means subnet. Either we call a subnet or network, right? The 10 network starting from 10, this is called 10.0.0.4, 10 network, these are 10 network. All are the part of, I'm talking about IP addresses, right? You can see all are part of 10 network only, right? If there are two or more computers are the part of same network or same subnet, if wants to communicate with each other, then we have to deploy the switch to allow the communication. If there are two or more devices wants to communicate with each other, if they're part of same network or same subnet, then we have to deploy the switch to allow the communication. That means switches within the network, means in the one network, for example, switch is the device, right? We denote like this, but it will look like this. It will look like this. You'll have one this much of thick the device, thin device, this much of device, this kind of device, thin device. And क्या बोले, कैमरा हो गया, अच्छा, अरे ये हो गया क्या, कैमरा, हेलो, कैन यू सी मी?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
No, sir.
No, we can't see you.
Can see you, sir.
Not fine, sir. Now,
Yes, sir.
now,
It is
Now
okay, sir.
we can see you.
It got this.
Okay, sir.
अभी ऑन हो गया ना?
Yeah, no, okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
हाँ, एक मिनट, मैं आपको यहाँ पर कोशिश करता हूं दिखाने का। You can see it looks like this Cisco switch. You can see like this. You can see it connected like through cable. Multiple, multiple computers will be connected through cable. You see in the LAN cable, right? Okay, we do not like that sign on the paper once we draw, but it looks like this. Router also look like this one, same only. वो कहाँ गया? अरे वो क्या बोलते हैं? हमारा mute mic. Somebody is not in mute. Cisco. You can see router also look like this. This is the home router. If you touch Cisco router, means enterprise router, then you can see. Physically, a router and switch look like this, but working are different. But if you see physically, both will look like this only. Got it right? Okay. So two or more computers, if they're part of same network, and same subnet wants to communicate with each other, we have to deploy the switch. You can see this is 10 network, this is 10 network. These computer wants to communicate with each other. This computer want to communicate with this one. This computer want to communicate with this one. This computer want to communicate with this one. Means all wants to communicate with each other. Are the part of same network? Then which device we have to deploy? Router or switch? Switch. All are the part of same network. That means which switches within the network. Means as soon as it receives the communication from one port, it will switch to other port within the network, because all computers are part of same network. Yes or no? Two ports of switch cannot be of the different network. Means one computer, for example, if one computer has the IP at 192.168.0.2, can I connect this computer to this switch port?
No.
These three computers they can connect, but this computer you cannot connect. Why you cannot connect?
Different network.
Because it belongs to different network. Because all ports of the switch should belong to same network. Yes or no?
Another router.
Yes.
None of the ports of the switch should belong to two different network. Yes or no? So in this case, for example, I have certain devices. For example, 10. For example, we have these devices. Again, another network we have here, which are 192.168 network. 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. 192.168, 0.5, means 192.168, this network. So if this machine wants to communicate with this machine, 10 dot machine, this is 10.0.0.5. Then can we connect directly like this? Can we connect?
No.
Can we connect to switch like this? Because this switch port is the part of 192 network, and this switch port is part of 10 network. We can't this communication will not happen. Some people, if connect cable directly, communication will not happen. Why? Because all port of this switch should be the part of 10 network, and this switch port should be the part of 192 network, right? Then now communication from one network to another network, we have to deploy the router. If two or more devices which is part of different network, wants to communicate with each other, in that case,
Router.
we need to deploy the router.
Router.
That
Router.
means the router routes between the network. Router routes between the network, while switches within the network. Yes or no? Within the network. One network within the network, switch. Between the network, you can see. Within the network, switch. Between the network, router. One network, another network, router. Between the network, switch. Yes or no? So between two network, if two network wants to connect with each other, router. Within the network, switch. You understand, right? You understand? If router have multiple, for example, you have got a router, 1 port, 2 port, 3 port, 4 port, 5 port, 6 port. If router has 6 port, all port will have different range of IP address. Cannot have same network IP address in all port of router. For example, if one is 192.168.0.5, 0.6, 0.7, you can't connect. Yes or no? All port of the router should belong to different network, not the same network, different subnet.
Yes.
Deploy only router on the same network, what will happen?
What?
If we deploy only router,
Hmm.
don't put any switches.
You can't do that without switch. You can't work. You can't work without switch.
So there are many router which comes as a switch capability.
I will tell you. There are some layer 3, layer 4 routers.
Okay.
Which are coming with switch nowadays, like your digital routers. I'll come on that part on later part. I'm talking about standard switch and standard router as of now.
OSI model is a different topic.
क्या बोले कुछ बोले?
OSI model is a different topic.
We'll talk about here. We'll talk about it here in the next class.
Sir, if we are not capable, to purchase a just like router, we are still doing with switch. Then just like 10.10.3 is our HR department, and 172.16.0 is our production department. Then
Right.
how can we configure both two network on the switch? There is any way to connection between two network?
See what happens
From
is
switch.
From switch to network, in between you configure router. In between you configure router. If there are two different network, configure router in between. Okay, and there are concept. Actually, this is not a networking class. There are further something called as VLAN, virtual LAN. One network can also further segregated with virtual LAN. Get in mind? One subnet can be segregated with different network also. It's a big network, right? Big subnet. We can segregate with different network. Then one router can communicate with different. Understand? Further, VLAN, VTP. There's so many things coming in the picture.
Sir, VLAN meaning matlab we can connect
Virtual LAN.
multiple router.
Multiple router, right? Even the 10 range of IP also, multiple network can be created. Multiple network. Within this, you can see it's the same range of IP address. One network, but we can virtually separate and create multiple small network.
सर जो मेन राउटर का आईपी रहेगा जो सेग्रीगेट करेंगे नेटवर्क वीलेन के थ्रू तो उनका जो आईपी होगा डिफरेंट होगा या फर्स्ट मेन राउटर का सेम रहेगा?
It depends on multiple factors.
Okay.
Anyways, you are not going to configure it. You are not going to work on the router and switches, but the basic knowledge is very important, and that's enough for you. Okay, if you want to deep down, you can deep down it, but there are a lot more things we have to learn from cybersecurity perspective. But if you nowadays, if you have time, you can explore it. Okay, so some of the homework that I'm going to give you now. One homework you have already written, right? Server. Now next is OSI model. The video you see on the SIEM Expert channel. OSI model. SIEM Expert channel, you will see. This is second homework. third is TCP UDP. Transfer protocol. You will see in 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐵 channel. Okay, I will share the link if possible, or anybody of you can share in the group. OSI model. Yes.
So I missed the first one homework. So can I get one?
First homework was what is server and workstation. That video is there on the YouTube channel. Okay, 𝐓𝐸𝐴𝐵 YouTube channel. OSI model, and third is TCP UDP. What is transfer protocol? I explain you that how the digital communication happen. How the communication happen on the digital network. How the communication happen in the form of packets. What transfer protocol, TCP UDP. What is the difference between TCP UDP? And what is better? TCP UDP. What is three-way handshake? Very important interview question. And OSI is also important, right? Make sure you go through it.
OSI is the most important part, sir, right?
Both are important. TCP also and OSI is also.
Got it, sir.
Okay. So if you learn it, comment what you learn, so that I will see whoever has learned those topics.
All right, sir.
Okay, guys. So tomorrow I will tell you the possibility, because you understand, right? Recently my friend has passed away. So tomorrow is his Khari Visarjanam activity tomorrow. So I might go tomorrow. So tomorrow I might not be taking the session. I'll be updating you today evening. Tomorrow, if not, we'll connect on Friday. Okay. Thank you for joining.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
One query.
Thank you, sir.